And so we'll just have to go back to YouTube to end the stream on YouTube. Is that what you're saying?
That's what it looks like.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Coach Sagasa and
Coach Neil.
And this is the Frank and Neil Keeping It Real podcast show, episode number 3. And today's topics, we're talking about tipping. How far is too far when it comes to tipping? And then the next one was what?
UFOs and what they were really made for.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good one. So, let's jump right into.
Let's start with Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
Hey,
yeah.
Shout out to all the people in the military fighting for our freedoms, and we can never say enough to those that have given their lives for us to have the freedoms that we do today. And we know what Memorial Day is and what it stands for, but on a lighter note, what does Memorial Day mean to Coach Sagasta?
So for me, I shared a post actually this morning on my Facebook page, and it just, I remember like my father who served in the Korean War, and every time I go to Vegas, I still look at those plaques because that's a veterans highway, and they dedicated it to each and every single branch of military and war. So to me, I definitely give a lot of remembrance to those fallen soldiers, those heroes. I think of also, every time this day comes around, I also think about the opportunity that I had at Desert Star Academy to take a group of students to Washington, D.C. and actually walk the grounds of Arlington National Cemetery, as well as watching the changing of the guards. That was iconic. So that, to me, I think about the heroes, the fallen heroes. But I have to ask you now. Do you say, and I heard this morning, and so if anybody's watching Fox News, I just caught a glimpse of it as I turned on the TV today. Do you say Happy Memorial Day, or do you just say in remembrance to Memorial, to our fallen soldiers? Like, what do you actually say on this day?
I think I'm a Happy Memorial Day person.
Really?
Yeah.
So my wife and I got in this discussion this morning before I left the house because she just woke up. No disrespect. Here we go. So I said, do you still say? Do people say Happy Memorial Day? And what does that reflect? Because in my eyes, it reflects like you're happy they're dead.
Yeah.
Right. Like I was thinking about this. Like, do we say as Americans? Do we say Happy Memorial Day? I don't know. It just sounds kind of like eerie.
Yeah, like you're happy that people have had to pass for this.
Right. And what do you, Anna? What do you say?
Happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day. So I don't know. I'm like tossed in between that. So I am happy that they served and they fought a good fight to keep our freedoms.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm lost on that.
That's tough. Like, I guess it's just always been like, you're going through school and everything. It's always like, hey, Happy Memorial Day. Like, you never like sit there and like think like, why is it happy? Like,
that's my problem. I overthink things big time.
And the other thing is, like, touching on that is, why is it that like that becomes barbecue season, camping season, going to the river season? Like,
Dude,
I guess because we get to enjoy those freedoms and take advantage of it.
I think it's ingrained in us to believe that it's all about barbecue, River Day, park, picnic, and we forget the actual reasoning. I really do. I believe that we forget, or we just weren't taught enough, or to, like, what's the right word I'm looking for? Like, to hold that up, to value that as a remembrance of those individuals that have fallen. I don't know. I'm tossed up in it. I really am. This is probably one day that, as of today, 45 years on this earth, like where I'm actually a little tossed on this. I know, right? I know. I'm a little tossed on this subject right here.
Yeah, and it's hard too because you have kids in the military. I have family in the military, so this is a day that we do hold dear, and so it is.
Well, what say you? What say you? Please comment, share this podcast out. We want to know from you. We want to know from the viewers, what do you think? Should we say Happy Memorial Day, or should we say in remembrance? I don't know what to say, actually. Like, what do you actually say?
Yeah.
So Neil's typing it in right now. He wants to see.
I'm trying.
Okay, so go
I can't.
back, boom, and then type it in.
I'm not tech savvy.
Okay. What do you want to say?
let us know.
Oh.
I'm on the dictionary.
You're in the dictionary, dude.
See, I don't know. I don't touch the computer.
All right. So here we go. Comment right there.
Okay.
That's where you're gonna type it in.
What do you say?
Awesome. And then I'm gonna go ahead and quickly, because we're using StreamWire today in today's podcast. We're using StreamWire today in today's podcast. And I'm sure there's some people actually commenting on the TikTok live. But let's jump into our major topic today. And our major topic today was tipping. How far is too far when it comes to tipping? And do you tip everywhere you go? And has tipping gone wild? I like that one. You remember Girls Gone Wild? Remember that back in the day? So tipping gone wild. I thought about that this morning. So what's your take on tipping?
So I draw the line with tipping in general. Okay, if I have a hostess, waitress, waiter, whatever, why am I giving them more money on top of what they're already making? Okay, as teachers, we don't have parents come into the classroom and be like, hey, that lesson today, that was amazing, let me give you $10.
Right.
I would feel kind of disrespected and kind of like, you don't think I make enough as a teacher? Which we don't, especially in Arizona.
Right.
You know, like, I took a trip to Colombia, and tipping is like a no-no there. Because it's a sign of disrespect. Like, what do you think that I don't have money? Or,
Right.
So, I'm not big on tipping at all.
So, I did a lot of homework on this. I wanted to know more about the origin of where tipping came from. And actually, tipping came from Rome. And it was a way to pay for passage. So and I thought this was really interesting. Because as you travel down the road, you pay, even in parts of America, you still pay a toll.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your tip to pass through. That's the passage. And you see that a lot in California. But I'm at the mercy of saying, if the service is good, I'm gonna tip. Now, I don't like the fact, Neil, that you want to make me tip 18, 20%, 21%, 25%. That is lunacy. If the service is good, then I'll tip well above 15%. But if the food and the service suck, you might get 3%. Like straight up, no disrespect. I guess where I cross the line, Neil, is when I go to Starbucks or I go to Dutch Bros and they're asking me for a tip prior to the service, prior to the drink. That's where I'm like, whoa. Because what if I get my drink and it just sucks?
Yeah.
What if I get my drink and then like they're supposed to make me I think it's called a macchiato, one of my favorite drinks at Dutch Bros. And I get it and there's no fresh pineapple or mango in it. You know? And I just tipped you 18%. I'm like, yeah, somebody's gonna get a lukewarm macchiato back at their door.
Okay, let me ask you this though. You're in a big party.
Yeah.
Right? They automatically put the gratuity on there at
God.
15%, 18%, whatever they charge. But the service was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't take that off the bill because they say party of 7 or more. Or whatever.
Okay, so we do have a restaurant locally, and I just found this out recently. Now, when we went for your son's graduation, you guys left a tip, a handsome tip. I'm more than certain because you guys they went all out.
Yes, they did.
So this other particular restaurant in our community, no matter what the size is, and if you separate the checks, no matter what, you're paying 18%. To me, again, I think that's wrong, especially if there is not quality of service. The food might be but the service is not there, and you're forcing me as a company to pay 18%.
Well, and I've noticed too is that the waiters or waitresses or whoever, they know that they're already getting that tip, and I don't see them half the time.
No matter what, exactly.
My drink is empty, and I'm like, tapping
No,
on my Dutch or calling
I've
them
seen
over.
that. Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of the automatically adding gratuity. You know, my wife and mother-in-law, they love tipping. To them, 20-25%.
Only hot bartenders.
So
only hot bartenders. Did you hear that? If you're a hot bartender and you're serving us, I guarantee you're gonna make some good money. You're gonna make some good coin. Okay.
Okay, touching on that real quick.
Uh-oh.
Do you think that age, gender, race has an effect on how much these people make? Because like my wife just said, if it's a hot bartender,
You're getting
she's
paid.
tipping.
You're getting paid. And so I'm like, at the other side, and that's a great question. All the age, sex, height, weight, all that stuff doesn't matter to me. Service matters to me the most. If you have great customer service skills, meaning that you actually eyeball me, you're coming by, not all the time. I like, you come by and you check on us. You ask us how things are going, how was the food, things like that. That right there is good quality, right?
Okay. You just touched on one of my pet peeves.
Okay.
Why is it that every time they put my plate down, my waitress comes by? How's the food?
You haven't even touched it.
I don't know. You just
You
gave
haven't
it to
touched
me.
it. Right.
Like,
It's still hot.
It gets me so hurt.
It's still hot. Wait a minute.
Oh, God.
Let me put my foot. That's where you gotta, hold on. Don't move.
Like,
Oh, this tastes like crap. Take it back. You know what I mean?
how's your steak cooked?
Yeah.
I haven't cut into
Right,
it. How would I
exactly.
know?
Important. It's still moving. It's still moving. I asked for beef jerky.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, don't. Don't ruin a steak, okay? So, yeah, no, that's one of my pet peeves.
So did you know this? And I found this very interesting. So prior to COVID, okay, Americans were paying roughly 36 to 42% in tips. After, we are at 86%, folks. You heard it right, 86%. Now,
86% of the bill?
86% tip growth.
Oh, okay. So,
So
86%
they call it,
tip.
in fact, there's a term it's called tipflation.
Okay, I get it.
Tipflation.
So more people are tipping.
Exactly. More and more companies are asking for more tips. And now they're starting to swing after COVID toward you tip before you even get the service.
Yeah, that's.
And I'm lost on that because again, as we brought this topic up, I was doing some homework. I was just like, wow, this is interesting. Like how much we've been tipping since 1980 and how much it's been growing, and now we're at 86% as Americans. I'm like, so where do you draw the line? And so that's why this podcast is really dedicated to where do we draw the line and saying, nah. But like Anna said, if the waiter or waitress is, or gender is, ideal, there's good vibe, good frequency, then yeah, I'm tipping. But if there's none of that and the food still sucks, you might get $1.
Okay. Where do you draw the line on who to tip? Because I leave my bills $20. I leave $5, $10, whatever it is, on the table. The busser comes. He doesn't take it.
Right.
Right.
He wants to.
The waitress gets it. We don't know if she's tipping out the cook, the guy cleaning it. As far as you go to Vegas, people open the door for you. You tip them. Valet, you tip them. We don't tip police officers, firefighters. People, paramedics, like the people that are saving lives.
Yeah.
So where do you draw the line on who to tip?
Yeah, can you imagine being on the gurney? You got hit by a car. Hey, reach in my back pocket and get your tip. Like that would be crazy. You know what I mean?
Could you imagine they load you in the ambulance? How was the service today?
Yeah. Or
hold on, the screen's gonna ask you a question.
yeah, right there. Exactly. Or better yet, like you got a lawyer like Donald Trump. He's in a courtroom and turns around. He's got his lawyer's got one of those tap machines.
Yeah.
You got to tap for a tip. You don't tip, Mr. Trump. You are not getting the best service.
Yeah, if you're fast food, don't tell me the computer's gonna ask me a question and then try to look away all nonchalant. I see you. Yeah, if you're fast food, don't tell me the computer's gonna ask me a question and then try to look away all nonchalant. I see you.